Okay. Hello, guys. This is me back. Doing a live stream. I was supposed to start this at 9 o'clock, but I got preoccupied with some other things. Yeah. Um. So right now, today, I'm actually gonna be doing a little bit of something I showed on my Instagram already. I'm gonna be doing like on and completing this because I really need to complete it. It's been a long way. I actually still have some other stuff to draw in this. Like for example, I have to draw the female who's supposed to be in this woman who's supposed to be in this drawing, and I haven't drawn women in a while. So yeah, this is gonna be hard. Okay, it's not gonna be a piece of cake. It's definitely gonna be hard. But you know, gotta basically power through it. Right. So I'm actually gonna start with I'm gonna have to use a lot of references because I haven't really drawn women. I haven't drawn like girls in a while, and kind of a little bit lacking a bit of confidence on that part. I changed the this character's design a bit, especially his hair. His hair, I didn't really like it that much, the way it came out in the last drawing I did, and it was kind of bothering me a little bit. You know, it wasn't really like something that was like, oh, it looks good. Like, no, it kind of bothered me a lot. But yeah, um, took a while for me to get this character right in this angle. You guys will see the video on YouTube after I finish this drawing. It's basically gonna be like it took a while. That's all I gotta say. It took a really like a long time. So more about this character that I've already drawn. His name is Dogo. He's actually gonna be my series called Siege. I had a lot of names, original names I was working on to like, you know, because the first ring I had was the Rings of Faith, and then I was like, you know what, that doesn't really, you know, that doesn't really, it's not that good, honestly. And then the next one I had, which was something completely different, which was not even Siege. It was just the Fate of the Rings or some shit like that. And I was like, you know what? No. It was more of this series is gonna be a bit of a dark, like if you think of like shonens that are dark in nature, like Jujutsu Kaisen or Chainsaw Man, or if you know, you know. So it's basically that's like Yu Yu Hakusho, you know, when it gets dark. Full Metal Alchemist even, and yeah, it's supposed to be um like a really fun thing. Well, actually, no. That's the completely It's completely opposite of what I was trying to say. It's supposed to be this like very dark, manga. Um, and I'm trying to draw the characters to resemble that. But sometimes I'm not really satisfied with the outcome of the art because I need to improve a lot. But I keep saying a lot, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep saying because I'm not good at holding conversations with people that I don't know. But yeah, it's a story I came up with. It's a dark story, like I said already. It's gonna have a lot of things to do with like eldritch beings and stuff like that, like if you know Cthulhu or all those weird names with eldritch mythos and all that. Like if you played Elden Ring, you know, not like the name Cthulhu, but like you would know what I mean by eldritch beings because most of those characters in those games or those monsters in those games are considered to be eldritch. And well, actually, not too much of Elden Ring, but think more of is it Bloodborne? I think yeah, Think more of Bloodborne. Bloodborne has a lot of like a lot more of this eldritch nature to it. Like it just oozes the like eldritch horror and um and the fact that it's very unsettling. That's basically what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna try to go for this manga. Like maybe some of the characters might look cool, but it's not just because they oh yeah these characters look cool and all that. No, it's also supposed to be a very serious manga. Like not serious per se, like dealing with real life topics. I mean, there will be some of that in there, but it's more serious to the point like um the like the current situation that the characters are in. Um and right now I'm not actually working on it. I am making like characters and stuff like that and just getting it ready just in case after I finish the one I'm working on currently at the moment, which is called Overtime, and that one I haven't promoted as much as Siege, honestly. So that one I'm gonna try to finish the manga by. I'm gonna try to finish the manga by September. So by September, the whole thing should be done. I'll say mid to late September, the whole thing should be done. And then by then, because funnily enough, I was actually thinking about doing the entire one shot last year, but I didn't feel like my art was good enough, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna focus on improving my art, and then after I get there to where I feel like I could finally release a piece um online, like a full readable, you know, book or like just something that is actually like digestible, then I could get the whole thing. I'm saying too much, but that way I'll be able to get people to read it more and more like um interested in the story and the art. Because I've seen some stories out there. The story's interesting, but the art is not. It doesn't follow that. It doesn't follow suit. A great example initially that follows this is One Punch Man by One. One actually made One Punch Man by himself. He started as a web comic, and the drawing was not good. Honestly, it really was not good at the beginning. At the beginning, it was really bad. It was like very bad. Like I'm talking about amateur level. Like even I could have drew those characters back then when I was still like an amateur. But over time is sense of perspective, anatomy, the human anatomy itself is it got even better where he's able to draw these characters. For example, with a story Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100 is a better let's get that out of the way. It's a better looking webcomic than One Punch Man is. Because as much as I love One Punch Man, the only reason why I love One Punch Man now is because it got associated with the art of Yusuke Murata. And Yusuke Murata is one of my favorite manga because ever, like straight up, like ever. And Yusuke Murata's art really elevated the story of One Punch Man to where it's like we're getting this beautiful art from Yusuke Murata every month, and the story of One Punch Man is so like so gripping. It basically grabs you in, and it kind of sits you down in front of it, and you're able to digest all of it in like a sitting without having to like flip pages and get bored and all that. Which is what I like a lot about One Punch Man. It's like now this is turned into a One Punch Man stream. Yeah, but basically, what I like a lot about One Punch Man is the fact that it has great visual storytelling, and it also has great like storytelling in written form. It's not just eye candy, like oh this panel looks so good and blah blah. No, the reason why it looks so good is because like if you just remove all the text bubbles and all that, and you remove the speech and all that, it wouldn't feel as impactful as it is. Like Saitama doing those serious punch on Boros would not feel as impactful as it was when I first read the One Punch Man chapter where he did said move on Boros. It was much more impactful because it was such a heavy moment, and it's not even like One Punch Man is not deep manga or anime or anything like that. Well, until later, chapters, but it's kind of very surface level until you get into it. But yeah, it's One Punch Man is basically a story about ideologies and how, and also the perspective of others view, like the way that you perceive somebody through your eyes, and then the way somebody else perceives that same person through their own eyes, and it basically could vary on the different people and how they actually perceive it. Like for a great example of this actually is Hero Hunter Garo. The Hero Hunter Garo arc actually just completed this week. It's an amazing ending. But the Hero Hunter arc completed this week, and it had one of my favorite moments in all of manga. The entire arc was basically not even through the perspective of the heroes and Garo. It was through the perspectives of Saitama, some of the heroes who were very like on the let's kill Garo path, and this little kid. I think his name is uh, Taro. I think it's Taro. You can correct me in the chat if you want to, but his name is Taro. It starts with T, but basically yeah, his name is Taro, and he perceives not Genos, Garo to be this hero because Garo saved his life so many times, despite the fact that Garo was actually going around during the same time hunting down heroes and basically making a mockery of them. And it also shows like, and I'm pretty sure it's not the first thing to do this, but it basically shows the hypocrisy, because it's definitely not the first to do it, but it shows the hypocrisy of the Heroes Association, where they value fame and glory more than they actually value helping people. Like, for example, Amai Mask. Amai Mask is just a guy. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything if you never read One Punch Man before. Um, it's basically just a guy who is a very good-looking guy, and he's very strong as well. But basically, what rose him into fame was because he looked good. But his backstory, you learn a lot more about him, and um, how he's basically like just like he was this loser before he became what he was, and he became that through monstrification, which is another way of like it's basically natural monstrification, not consuming monster cells. If you watch season 2 of One Punch Man, and he basically did it all just to become a good-looking guy. He never really cared about helping people. He'd help people to make himself look better than to actually help people. And then there's the ideology of the fact that someone like Moomin Rider, who's an even lower ranked hero than Amai Mask, is actually he cares a lot about helping the normal, ordinary, everyday person. unlike a Mind Mask who's only doing it for the fame. And it's like so many different ways of viewing the hero spectrum, and also many ways of viewing the villain spectrum, because there's some villains in the series. Some of them are very one note, which I will agree with if anybody does state that as a negative against One Punch Man. That many of the villains do feel one note, but I feel like Garo is the one that they've made. Honestly, I won't say he's like top five anime villains of all time or anything like that, but he is definitely, in my opinion, and in my top 10 villains of all time. Not only is his ideology and how he basically used that to develop himself as a person, but also as a fighter. Every single fight, you see him lose. Like, he actually loses those fights. Mid fight, when he's losing, he learns. He learns from the opponent and how to use their own moves against them. He's the he's like the basically like the pure antithesis to Saitama, where Saitama doesn't need to learn from the opponent. He's basically just going to one shot them. But Garo needs to add every single move from the opponent's handbook to his own handbook to learn in order to grow, in order to evolve. Grow and evolve is the same thing. Well, not always the same thing, and it just matters which context you use in it, anyways. But I liked it a lot. The fact that Garo was such a well written character, and it wasn't just a one note villain. Like, oh, I want to become the strongest guy in the world. Like, his ideology is actually to become the strongest in the world, so people could fear him. So there will be no more, you know, unfairness between everybody. So he's the only one that they fear, and everybody starts working together, and that's all he wants. Even though it means he will become the greatest villain to ever live. And by the end of the story, it's actually like very, very good storytelling. I've heard complaints about, the latest arc, which is the Garo Hunter arc, the Hero Hunter arc, and a lot of people say that, oh, it's basically like Dragon Ball Z now. It's only eye candy. Well, I won't argue against those points because it definitely is eye candy. Because that's honestly the only way that you could get someone to read One Punch Man, the manga, not the webcomic. Because the webcomic, even though it's gotten better, it's still not like gripping art wise. Story wise, it's definitely there. It's actually they're running both at the same time right now. So the webcomic and the manga itself are running side by side, and it's really cool to see that because even though the webcomic is like a couple of chapters ahead of the current manga, there are some changes that one allowed Yusuke Murata to make that made the story even better, and I'm glad about that. And funnily enough, there was actually this Yusuke Murata made two versions of a chapter, and it was a recent chapter for the Hero Hunter arc, and it was basically like it was a chapter where Garo went into this huge monsterification mode, and they showed Blast, one of the races from where Boros was from. He was there, and some other silhouettes. And the chapter basically, I think the chapter ended with Saitama sitting in a broken down house that was inside of a cave, I think, or something like that. And he basically sat down at the table with Garo, basically talking it out. But then Yusuke Murata changed it, and like completely changed it actually, and it turned to um Saitama completely demolishing Garo, and then Garo turned into the character of God, and he basically gets this universal Garo mode from him, which is what everybody starts to make the claim that it feels like Dragon Ball Z, that it's very like just much more fighting oriented, even though I see a lot more than just that because I'm actually reading it. I'm not just looking at the goddamn pictures. But yeah, also okay, let me just get off this whole side of my thing because I'm talking too much about One Punch Man. Anyways, moving on from One Punch Man, my series is basically a dark series. It's gonna have a lot of more like if you think about if you ever read JoJo's, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it has a lot more of that vibe to it, like the Ventoreo Steel Ball Run type vibe to it, and it's very very, I'll say it'll definitely have that feel. It'll have a more like serious tone to it. There'll be some lighthearted moments, of course, because you can't have every single chapter be, oh, straight up, oh, let's go fight this guy, or let's go do this thing, or let's go assassinate this person, or let's go, well, whatever. It's just, it's just whatever, man. It's the manga is planning for it to be a really good manga. It's gonna be fully colored. One more thing, it's not gonna be a webtoon style manga because my audience prefers a traditional one, so that's fine. I have no problems with that, honestly. I actually prefer traditional manga as well, even though webtoons is really nice to read sometimes. Because I was reading this webtoons called, I don't think it's webtoons, but well, I guess everything's kind of generalized under webtoons, but I'll just call it a webcomic. I was reading this webcomic in a webtoon style as well, the webcomic called The Boxer. And dude, when I say this story of the boxer and the art is amazing, read it. Go read The Boxer. It, trust me, it is one of the best web comics out, right there. Honestly, I'll say it's number two, right next to Solo Leveling. Right next to Solo Leveling is The Boxer. The Boxer does not miss. You need to read it. It's so good. The main character is not even the main character. That's the crazy part of the freaking thing. It's like you first meet the main character, and then he turns into the villain. The main character turns into the villain of the whole thing, and it's so good. And then one of the other characters from the beginning of the story comes to stop the villain from being the villain, and then they write about the story. Oh man! And they're doing the sequel right now, and I think it's like very deep into the sequel. So I have a lot of catching up to do, honestly. Um, but yeah, it's such a good read. It is such a good read. Like it's one of the, it's not underrated because I've seen a lot of, like I didn't read it when it was really hyped back then. Because the boxer, I think it came out like 2018, 2019, and I think 2019, yeah, 2019, 2020. And then basically it was getting hyped up on, like I'm pretty sure if you guys watch anime on YouTube and stuff like that, you've seen a commercial for the boxer. It's like you will see the character. He has black hair and he has very gloomy looking eyes and all that. You know, that's basically um, the boxer. And like if you want to say like a quick two words, a gloomy guy who looks like he could basically one punch everybody. Um, and honestly, when I read the manga, I was very interested by the main character and how he was like raised up in the world. So basically, that story is another story of perspective, and not perspective in art, but like perspective of lives, like who lived like, oh, depending on the life you live, like what does it, I don't even know how to say it, honestly. I'm not a philosophical guy or anything like that, but depending, not depending, I'm trying to look for the word. It's basically like light versus dark versus darkness. So like death versus life, or meaningfulness versus meaninglessness. That's basically the whole story for the first part of the boxer. And the second part I'm reading right now, and it's basically is the story of a guy who basically couldn't box before, but was able to, you know, train himself to the point where he became like a really good boxer. But yeah, yeah. So I would definitely recommend anybody to read it. Trust me, you will enjoy your time reading it. Um, I don't want anybody to think like, oh, this is like a promotion. It's really not. Like they don't even know who I am. So that's it's just me passionately speaking about a web comic I enjoy a lot. 'Cause it's really good. It's really really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Another manga I enjoyed is Chainsaw Man. I'm pretty sure you guys are hyped about that anime coming out soon. Coming out this fall, I believe, or the ending of the summer. So yeah, it's very excited, very excited. Yeah, I remember what's the name? Oh man, and then part two of Chainsaw Man is out, and I'm reading that right now, and it's really crazy. Like freaking War Devil and wanting to kill wanting to kill what's his name again? No, his name is not. His name Shinji? Because I may be wrong about that. Denji, that's his name. Denji. His name is Denji. I'm really like I am out of it right now. But yeah. Right now I'm on Pinterest. I'm trying to find references for female characters. So it just give me a bit of time. This live stream is gonna be long running, probably until like 12 o'clock. Hopefully until 12 o'clock. Saying that nothing, completely derails that. Is that a good placement for the character? Right. I always see people like what's his name, Third PHP, you know, Kuzo Mari, White Manga, a whole lot of them, and I'm always questioning. I'm like, yo, how do they draw these girls to look so, you know, girl-like? And I'm struggling over here trying to find a way to make to draw a girl, and I can't do it right now at the moment, but I will be able to do it because I don't want to fail. Um, I don't want to fail myself. I set myself up very high expectations, and I am not expecting myself to lose to myself because that'll be a really bad battle. Yeah, this looks a lot better. Just like the way the character is standing. Because before it didn't really look like he was staring at anything. It kind of looked weird. But just adjust the entirety of the character's positioning to make him look like he's actually looking at something and not look like he's Michael Jackson and he's leaning down. um, this will probably also be in perspective because like you gotta follow suit. You can't just. It's kind of hard finding references for perspectives that you want to find because you go to Pinterest, there's like millions of them out there, but it's not like the specific one you're looking for. But I'm not really trying to blame anything on anyone because honestly, this is kind of like a hard perspective to draw, anyways. Especially to draw with two characters. Um, but that's no excuse for me to like say, "Oh, I don't want to draw that other character anymore." I have to, I have to really find a way around that. Gotta find a way around that. So yeah, more about Dogo. Dogo is he's a very serious, stoic guy who can be he could be goofy at times. Like think of Yami from Black Clover. He's basically that. He's very serious when it's necessary, but he's very like laid back when he has to be. Uh, when he's not doing anything serious, that is. Um, he has I guess you could say almond. Like if you've seen the inside of an almond, he has like the inside of an almond type color for his hair. Um, he's as you can see, he's very fit. Um, yeah, and he likes wearing boots. Those are boots. Those are completely boots. Not anything else, just boots. Probably she erased it to make my point. And a spare. He has a spare that he like conjures from time to time, but most of the time he likes to like have it out, and that way it allows him to have easy access to it for battle. He's part of this group called the Gears. The Gears are like, say, if everything that we knew about the Illuminati was real. That's This group is basically that the Illuminati of this world that I'm creating, and basically they fight off extraterrestrial threats, and that's what they do. They also take care of anomalies that take time that happen in different countries and stuff like that. And he's one of the higher ranks of that. Like he's one of the highest ranks in that group of people. And there's this power system I have called Rings, which is why I was named the entire thing Rings of Faith in the first place. It's kind of similar to Apple Black's power system, in where, like, the wand and all that, but it's not a wand, it's a ring, and the ring is kind of connected to your soul. And when it connects to your soul, you're basically like in an eternal contract with it until you die. So think of a devil fruit with mixed with I don't know, the Death Note, I guess. But like it's obviously not the Death Note because it doesn't have the Death Note. But like the contract that Light enters with Ryuk, think of that like that, and basically they're doing that, and then you basically when you don't even have to wear it, it basically just chooses you. It's kind of like, okay, so it's like Death Note, One Piece, the One Piece power system, which is the main one, which is Dead Fruits, and then the Lanterns Corps. Like think of like the Green Lanterns and stuff like that, the Red Lanterns, the Blue Lanterns, the think of that. It basically chooses you. You don't take it and then you wear it and then boom. No, it chooses you and it's like, hey, that's you're that guy. So you're gonna be chosen. But yeah, it's a lot of different powers that you can have. The power is actually very based on like there's a main five set of rings or six or seven like that. I don't know. I'm thinking of increasing the number because just the importance of the story and all that. And basically, one of the main ones is the life ring. The second main one is the death ring. Third main one is the power ring. So just think of it like the Infinity Stones as well. it's a it's a multiple array of different power systems into one, where I feel it would work because of the eldritch matter of the world. It's not like the world is not a normal place, obviously. In this world that I'm creating, it's gonna be a very wonky, messed up world. Not wonky in a bad way, but like wonky in like think of Soul Eater. If you've ever read or watched Soul Eater, you know, with the moon smiling and the sun beaming with happiness all the time, like that. Think of like goofy stuff like that. Spoiler for 5%. uh, but yeah, it's it's very complex. Really not that complex, but it's very complex. When you get into like the more intricate rings where it don't really tie to a certain, like anything could be a ring. It could be the ring of lollipops, the ring of candy. Yes, you can have different sub, like think of devil fruits with subcategories. There's different subcategories of stuff. Like you have the ring of fire, but then you have another ring which is the ring of magma, which includes fire and like hot temperatures. You can have the ring of heat, which is like hot temperatures. You can have the ring of scorch, of black flames, which is Amaterasu. The everlasting flames, blah blah blah. But that's getting into like very intricate stuff. There will not even would be, there will be definitely very powerful enemies. Like think of the Wing of Power. I created this character a while ago. His name is Zeb, 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 and basically he's the power of Ringolder, and he basically has a contract of soul with it, and it basically allows him to have like infinite power, and by infinite power I mean infinite power. Like, but obviously it's not all infinite power all at once. It gradually builds up. Think of like Kenpachi Zaraki when he put all those handicaps on himself just to hold himself back so he could enjoy a fight longer. And the more his handicaps go down, the more his powers increase. That's basically what the Ring of Power is. And it's gonna be the same way for the Ring of Life and Death. The Ring of Death and Life is kind of a little bit kind of like overpowered in a sense, and that's why they don't really get used in the series more than once, honestly, because it's very crazy. And also, it's gonna have. If you ever read anything or watched any content about the SCP Foundation, there will be a character from that verse in my story. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm not gonna say what thing it refers to. It's gonna be something that I doubt anybody sees coming because it's so random. Um, but I could definitely say it's a very important thing, and it will definitely play into the the very end. It will play a very important role all the way till the ending of the story itself. And the length of the story, I'm planning for it to run for a while. Not One Piece long, obviously, not 1,000 chapters, but at least 500 chapters. Like 500ish is fine. Like I could do 500. It's gonna be a rough schedule, but I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. Um, But that comes in due time. Right now I'm just thinking of all the different ideas and different characters to add to it. Over time, I already wrote that down. That is basically just a short story. It probably will get a sequel if it gets enough demand for one. I don't think it will, but um, just in case, I already have one planned just in case. And if it doesn't get any like thing, I will just probably publish it later, like later on in my career, and I'll just put it out there like, oh, by the way, I made a part two to this short story nobody cared damn about. But yeah, um, yeah, it's a very like I really like I prefer building characters and story building to like storytelling and world building, just like the way that Ichiro Oda does it. Ichiro Oda does it such in a way like you're just blown away by everything that he does. It's like it's story building, storytelling is so good. He's able to give you information about a character you didn't know anything about, and you just instantly like that character. Like for example, Kozuki Oden. If you've gotten that far into Wano already ended a couple of chapters ago, 2, 3 chapters ago, and and from the get go, there was already this hype around him, like, oh yeah, this guy, he's an amazing guy. He blah blah blah. He did this and that for Wano, and we got a lot of silhouettes of him, and we got a lot of stories read about him before we even got into Wano. And then they show the man himself, Kozuki Oden, and we're like, oh shit, this guy is amazing. Especially what he did when he held all 9 scabbards on his back while he was in boiling hot oil in a freaking large pot of boiling hot oil with nothing, barely anything on, holding and carrying all 9 scabbards on his back. He does that and he gained my instant respect. And I think One Piece is the only story that really does that, where you gain like instant respect for a character like that. Same thing with Whitebeard, same thing with Ace. Like both characters were very short-lived in One Piece, but they gained everyone's respect that quick because of the actions that they performed and the history that they had with previous important characters. And it's insane because you think about it and you're like, oh shit, this actually makes a lot of sense. This is why this guy is everybody's favorite. This is why this guy is so revered in the story that he's in by the fans of said story. And I don't feel like any other manga does that as good as One Piece. Because One Piece is able, like, even without foreshadowing the character, they will make you like that character instantly. Corazon, for example, Corazon, the Law's caretaker when he was young, Doflamingo's younger brother, Corazon. He's Doflamingo's younger brother. He went to the military, became part of the military, not military, the Marines. He became part of the Marines, and he basically was kind of like an enemy to his brother, without his brother knowing, and he kind of infiltrated the Doflamingo. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but basically that family, he infiltrated it, even though that was his own blood. And even though, and I'm pretty sure it's because he witnessed his brother kill his father at a very young age. So he was like, you know what, I gotta get revenge for that. But despite that, he still managed to take care of Law. Law was this kid who's from I forgot the name of the town he's from, but um, basically his family is from this place that got contaminated with this disease, and the world government deemed it a threat, so they basically kind of like exterminated everybody, and Law was the only one who made it out alive. And it's insane because he was just a kid, and his family got exterminated. they could have helped them, but they didn't. They did not help them. And the kid still had the disease. And while he was like, when he ended up on Dressrosa, and I think what's his name is Doflamingo's brother helps him, and he basically they both go around the world looking for this cure to help um to help Law lose his disease. But everywhere they went, I'm pretty sure you guys know the story, but everywhere they went, completely getting rejected left and right, discriminated against, basically thought to be like a monster. Oh, don't come here, you have that disease. We don't want you in here anymore. Please leave, get out of here, blah blah. It was a really crazy, like it was insane that the fact that this man Oda was able to write such a compelling story about two characters, only one that we know prior about, and second we know nothing about until that specific flashback. And it was such an emotional retelling because his brother got killed by his own brother. He literally got killed by his own brother. Well, saying to the fact, even though we do know that Corazon was going to, like, eventually double cross the family and take him down. But you could say that's for good reason because Doflamingo is a tyrant. The guy is there's like he's beyond help. You cannot help this guy. This guy is insane. But just to see Corazon get gunned down by his own brother while Law was inside of a treasure chest being kept quiet by Corazon's devil fruit, which is the quiet fruit, that scene was so sad because you couldn't even hear Law cry. He was crying when he was walking away from the scene. He got on the Navy ship and that basically on the Marine ship, and that took him all the way home. Yeah, it was really sad. It was a sad backstory. Um, that backstory is basically 101 how to write a backstory with a character no one knows anything about, and make that character very impactful to the character that's having said flashback. That's how you expertly write a story. You make it emotional. You make sure that the character that is in that story has relatable problems, and the person who helps them out is one of the best persons in the world. Honestly, that's how you do it, and that really doesn't make sense. What I just said, that's not really. You don't have to do it that way. There are other ways of doing it, but this one way I've seen Oda do it, and he's done it successfully. He's definitely improved a lot on the storytelling since the beginning of One Piece, and you could definitely tell with a lot of story beats that are not just rudimentary; they are very complex. Just give me a minute. I'll be right back. I gotta get some water. draw. Okay, I'm back. Okay, continuing with what I wasn't saying, because I definitely was supposed to be talking about during this girl right here. Her name, I've drawn her before, and her name is Eula. She is also part of the secret organization that saves the worlds in the shadows, called the Gears. She's basically part of it with Dogo, and she basically is a fit lady, very fit. She goes to the gym a lot, yes, and she is cousins with the main character of the story, which you already know by the name Dante. Yes, he is the main character of this story. Dante, the guy, the black guy keeps showing. Yes, him. Yes, yes. Um, Funny thing, she's not ethnic. Let me stop. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop that PC bullshit. So she isn't the same race as Dante. She's not black, but she's actually, I guess you could say, in a Logic term. Like if you've seen Logic the rapper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Kind of like that. Um, and she is biracial. I'm sorry. It's just that Logic makes that joke. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, he just says it every single time he raps. Even though he's one of my favorite rappers, it's like every single time he says that shit, it's just funny. I'm like, dude, we get it. You're biracial. God damn. I mean, he doesn't say it anymore, which is good, because, like, kind of getting into a weird, concerning thing right now. It's like, bro, we get it. I've been saying this ever since you became Logic, and now you're still saying it. Like, can we stop? But no. Yeah, she is mixed. Um, shows more of her white side than her, you know, black side. But she's a very like brawler type. If you know Nobara from, well, Nobara's really not brawler. She has the brawler personality, but she's not really a brawler. Think of Maki. There you go, Maki. That makes a lot more sense. Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen mixed with a little bit of Todo, also from Jujutsu Kaisen, which was my favorite character from Jujutsu Kaisen. Him and Nanami, and not gonna say anything about what happens to Nanami in the manga. That's so fucked up. But yeah, um, think Todo and Maki, a fit woman, but who's also very like, you know, she can handle us. Obviously, she's fit. She's fucking, she goes to the fucking gym for God's sakes. But she basically knows how to throw it down when she has to. She doesn't really need help from anybody. That came out wrong. It made her sound like she's one of those. But no. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that she could handle herself. She could. She's very strong at and really good at handling herself. Favorite things. I actually have her thing up here. So I could do a quick check. Do a quick check. It's the old stuff I did. God damn. This was horrible. What was I thinking making these back then? Oh my god. Looking at my old art right now, it's a pain to look at, because it's like, did I really make that? What? Why was I making this? This is so bad. But yeah. So yeah. She is she likes working out, she likes fighting, she likes a particular person in her bubble of friends. He dislikes cheaters, working too hard, which is weird because she likes working out. Like, that makes no sense, but okay. Pranks. Yeah, she doesn't like it when people play pranks on her, which will be a running joke in the in the entire series that she gets pranks played on her by a certain someone. Her hobbies are going to the gym and learning new things. Her signature weapon, she has a baseball bat. Yeah, a baseball bat. So yeah, basically he uses this baseball bat to smash her enemy's skull in. Like, pretty damn gruesome. Uh, but yeah. Um, Here I am being at a loss of words about what the hell I'm gonna draw. It's not even what I'm gonna. I know what I want to draw. It's just the excuse me, fucking out. It's burping on the live stream. What the fuck? Just it's not even the fact that I don't know what to draw. I actually do know what to draw. I just don't know which, because the perspective is so like, yeah, confusing. But yeah, I will I should work on that soon. Man, what I wouldn't give to know how to draw backgrounds amazingly, dude. That would, like, honestly, if I could draw a freaking amazing background and my characters look like shit, I don't even care. I will take that in a heartbeat. That would be so freaking cool to me. Because honestly, people think characters make the drawing. No, 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 no. They don't. They do not. The background makes the drawing. If you have a cool background, trust me, your character could look like dog shit, and people will like it. Like, there's some drawings that actually like where the characters obviously look a lot better than the background itself, which is why people look at those drawings and they're like, oh, it looks cool. But if you actually look at like expert artists like Yusuke Murata and freaking um Obata, uh Inoue, you know, I like freaking what's his name? Shit. And like other artists like what's his name? Oh, fuck. What is his name? What is his name? What is his name? Horikoshi. There you go. Kohei Horikoshi. If you look at their backgrounds, some are very like, very standard, not like anything crazy. But that standardness makes the characters pop. Like, just imagine most of his characters on like a blank paper, nothing in the background, just straight up the characters fighting. Imagine that was the entire manga of My Hero Academia. It wouldn't be that enjoyable. Trust. The background adds so much more, and it does it in a very subtle way where you don't like, it's there, but you're not really like paying too much attention to it. But it feels this void that would be there if the the background wasn't there, because that's what people mostly complain about in Bleach, like the Bleach manga. Like, the background is non-existent. Like, there's barely any backgrounds, and when he does do backgrounds, they're very minimalistic. What Tite Kubo focuses on in his art is not the background. Like, you could care less about the background, honestly. What he cares about, like, look at Hikomundo. Hikomundo is literally a sad excuse for a background. I'm sorry for any Bleach fans out there, but honestly, Hueco Mundo is the most. And I understand it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, yeah, the hollows and all that. But if you really look at it from an objective point of view, it really does not match up to backgrounds of people like Yusuke Murata, Obata of Death Note, freaking Inoue of Vagabond, freaking Slam Dunk, what's his name? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with um with Hirohiko Araki, freaking people like Horikoshi Koe, even Jujutsu Kaisen, even Jujutsu Kaisen got to beat out in the background game. It's insane because a lot of people just instantly gratified towards the character that they like a lot, which is understandable because that's the point of the story. It's supposed to introduce the character that you like and give you this sense of like, oh, I vibe with this character. Like many people for some reason vibe with Levi. I wonder why that is. Mostly fangirls too. But but if you think about it, most of all that stuff would not be possible. It wouldn't be like completely possible without the background being there, giving it that sense of space, giving it that sense of like this feels not real, but it feels like it could be real, giving it that the sense that oh yeah, this is there. I see this. I could perceive this. I can see this as another thing out there, and that's why I completely stopped drawing, just like completely just putting a full color blanket and not trying to that's why I started trying to improve my background game, because when I was doing the um because there was this one piece I released on my Instagram a while ago, and I think let me, because I'm on my Instagram right now, I'm checking it, and it's like back in June 5th. So I released this one, this piece of drawing back in June 5th. Did not do anything on the background. Months later, I completely changed that. I redrew it. I added some background, which is July 22nd. So last month, and a couple of days ago, um, I basically redrew that old drawing because, like, it kind of like I was like, yeah, no, I didn't like this. I redrew the whole thing again, and even then, I still feel like there could be a lot more to improve on this, especially the background work. I feel like it's a lot better than my other drawing because I actually gave a new thing, like I gave something else a try. I tried something new. It wasn't just the same thing where it's just a drawing of a character and then there's straight up a color on the background and that's it. Like sometimes you gotta learn how to like get out of your comfort zone so you could be better at what you're trying to like get really good at. And that's exactly what I did because I really didn't want my art to be very rudimentary. I didn't want my art to be looked at as like, oh, it's one note and all he's really focusing on is the characters and this and that. And it's not like oh, people are saying that. I'm saying that to myself. I'm basically criticizing myself in like oh, I don't want this to be me in the future where I'm like kind of like blaming myself for being in a position I didn't want to be in. So with that, I basically just use that as motivation to try to improve myself every single day. Uh, but yeah, I just realized I haven't been doing that much drawing, which I definitely should get started on because so it's been a little while. But yeah, I'm just gonna erase this. I'm gonna write C because I know how to draw like the face of a lady, but you know it's gonna look really wonky. It's been a while. It's been a while. I might go quiet for a bit here because whenever like I get to drawing, I'm basically completely focused on that drawing. So everything kind of becomes like white noise in the background. So I don't really pay attention too much to everything else, honestly. But yeah. Basically, what I want her to like to do in the pose is she's holding her baseball bat. Yes, she uses a baseball bat. And she's kind of like, I guess, I don't know. You know that thing that people do when the sun is shining too bright and they want to look up in the sky. You know that thing they put their hand up. And, yeah, like that. She's doing that. Uh, yeah, I want to make sure like I accentuate the fact that she works out on her body. So like her abs will be more pronounced. You know, it won't be like it like his where like you could like big bulging muscle. No. It's gonna be more like subtle. It's not gonna be too too like muscular. If you understand. There's nothing wrong with muscular girls though, but it's like it's not gonna be too muscular. You know what I mean? Hmm. I don't like how this is. This doesn't look right. You know, let's just do this on another layer. That's a better layer. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move this, make it be up there. Okay, guys, that would be the stream for tonight. I actually went over the time I was supposed to. Um, that was a really fun stream. 2 hours, 19 minutes. Wow, it's a really long stream. It's very basically barely anything, and then thrown at the end. But yeah, it was really fun. Uh, Catch you guys on the flip side, or basically the next video I upload on YouTube, or the next live stream I do, or the next thing I post on Instagram. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching this live stream. All right, peace.